It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, rise and shine. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. And we started off talking about the paramedics who gave an anti-venom to a man who had been stung by a mamba snake. Now, anybody who has ever heard of a mamba snake knows that that is a poisonous snake and you are doomed. First step is paralysis. The next step is respiratory arrest. Third step, cardiac arrest. And the man who was bitten said, I'm going to die. So give me this anti-venom. Well, when they called the supervisor, he was nowhere to be found. Then they called the ER doctor and he said, give it to him. Don't wait another minute. Administer it, bring him in. And they did. Well, unfortunately, they now are, we don't know what happened because yesterday was D-Day for them because they were actually trying to take their licenses because they were not trained in wilderness, some type of wilderness training that they needed. Now, the man who was bitten did die, and his family says, listen, they're a hero to us. We don't care nothing about no certification, but the state did. So we don't know whether their licenses were actually taken or not. But hopefully, the greater minds prevailed, and they did not lose their licenses because that would not make any sense whatsoever, because had they not done anything and he had died, they would have been brought up on murder charges. So you know what? You don't know whether you should, you don't know whether you shouldn't, but they did the right thing according to us. And the person who lived. Well, the bigger story was the 13-year-old boy who was murdered out in Springfield Gardens, Queens. And by a 16-year-old, unfortunately, shot in the head on a morning before school could even get started. He was already dead. Well, the family decided to donate his organs, one to a 13-year-old. His heart went to a 13-year-old. His liver went to a 15-year-old. And to two 50-year-old individuals went his lungs, his pancreas, and his kidney. Now, amazing for the family to decide to give life opposed to just take and bury their son. But it brought up a very good question, because some religions say that they should not do life-saving measures. No blood transfusions, no organ donations. So we talked about it yesterday. Yes. Well, excuse me. We say go for it. God has allowed these life-saving measures to actually be, successful. And why not save a life opposed to watching lives go? Someone actually needed a heart, a literal heart, and a 13-year-old's life was saved, unfortunately, when this other 13-year-old life was on its way out of here. But a viable heart, viable kidneys, viable lungs, viable pancreas, viable liver. So you've given life to 4 people while, the family did not worry about, burying the life of their child. Because when you donate your organs, there is no body, there are no remains to funeralize and to put in the casket and to bury. And we here on this Due Time with Pastor Steph, said that, hey, this is something that we give God thanks for. And we would definitely, take those under advisement. Maybe, hopefully, after we had our conversation yesterday, those who have not decided to donate their organs or to give blood, which is a huge thing right now. They need blood in the blood banks. They say during this time of year, a lot of illnesses take place, a lot of murders take place, and there are a lot of blood transfusions that take place. And they need blood in your blood bank. So if you're healthy, please go to the blood bank, donate blood, because you can save, with your one donation, you save 3 lives. 3. For every blood donated from each person, it saves 3 lives. Can you imagine that? You responsible for 3 additional lives. Would you want, to have some blood waiting in the blood bank for you? God forbid you needed to have some, life-saving measure that's needed. Imagine all the people who are actually on lists for donations. Imagine being on a heart list at 13. Imagine being on a heart list at 13 and getting that call that there's a heart. So, actually, and that heart was given right here in New York. Yes, I think they said only a couple of the organs actually were flown out of New York to save those individuals, but right here. So giving God thanks for all that he has done, all that he will continue to do, and we can be of a bigger help, more than we could even imagine. So come on, let's get that done. All right. So that's how we spend our Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Well, today is Wow Wednesday, everybody. And we are halfway there. So, we give God thanks for that. Again, others didn't make it, but we did. We got our girl Vivian coming with her socially conscious segment. And I can't wait to get this day started. So go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Otis Boykin's mother died of heart failure when he was 1 year old. This tragedy would drive him to save millions of lives. Born in Dallas, 1920, graduated valedictorian, earned a scholarship to Fisk University, but had to drop out of graduate school because his family couldn't afford tuition. So he started inventing. 1959, Boykin created improved electrical resistors, tiny components that control electrical flow. Sounds boring? Think again. IBM immediately started using them in computers. The US military put them in guided missiles. His resistors made electronics cheaper and more reliable. But here's the incredible part. In 1964, Boykin invented the control unit that made modern pacemakers possible. The boy whose mother died of heart failure created the technology that regulates heartbeats. 1968, President Eisenhower has a heart attack. The pacemaker that saves his life? uses Otis Boykin's technology. By the time Boykin died in 1982, ironically of heart failure, his inventions had saved countless lives. Every computer, every smartphone, every pacemaker traced.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to His Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Wow Wednesday, everybody. Now, we're having some technical difficulties, as you can see. We got some fuzzy stuff jumping up on the screen. So, as the day goes on, or the morning goes on, we're going to try to work on this here. So, just pretend like it's not happening. Okay? All right. Well, listen, let's check it. I need to see who's out there, who's talking to me, who's listening to me. Okay, we got a check-in from our girl, Kenny. Good morning, Kenny. Thank you very much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us. We got a check-in from our lady, Tamika. Good morning, Lady Tamika. Thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to being a part of this morning's show with you. All right. We got to make sure we say good morning to the ladies who helped to hold it down. And we say good morning to our girl Shanti's. Hey, birthday girl. Yeah, we had a fantastic time celebrating last night. When we went out to eat, and we had some wonderful hosts, Teresa and Vivian and Anika. Yeah, good morning, Anika. Next one that holds it down for us every day. Make sure that we are nice, up and running and live on a Closer Walk Christian Media Network and Facebook Live, Coach for Christian Life. All right, so as we work on these technical difficulties, let's say good morning. Wait, is she ready? I don't know if she's ready. So we're going to wait for our girl V to start with her socially conscious segment. But in the interim, we got to give God thanks because, as we were out last night, I was looking at this beautiful New York skyline. When I tell you gorgeous, I mean absolutely gorgeous. And now with my new eyes that can see far and far away, it was just a crisp, clear night. And, just admiring all of God's handiwork. All of this stuff that all these people do, these skyscrapers and all these lights and the bridges, the bridge had lights and it was just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think it's the Kosciuszko Bridge, and it has like the lavender pinkish light. And I just was just sitting there, and I was trying to close my eyes, but I couldn't help just taking a peek every once in a while to just marvel at how beautiful God is. So we have so much to give God thanks for. So much to give God thanks for. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, Vivian. All righty. So let's say good morning to our girl V. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well. Thank you. How are you, Vivian?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good, good. You know what I always like to ask you. What you got for us today?
Okay, let's see. Making sure. There we go. All right. Today on Socially Conscious, we are starting off with the news of our soon-to-be former Mayor Eric Adams. If you haven't heard, New York City's Mayor Eric Adams has ended his bid for re-election. Even though the corruption case against him was thrown out earlier this year, his poll numbers dropped and fundraising dried up, making it hard for him to keep going. Because the deadline to withdraw has passed, his name will still appear on the ballot when we go out to vote, but he's no longer campaigning. His decision shakes up the mayor's race. Democratic Mamdani, who already won the primary, is now the clear frontrunner. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo is trying to step in as a more moderate choice, while Republican Curtis Sliwa is staying in the race. With Adams out, the question is whether voters who don't support Mamdani will rally behind one candidate or split their votes, giving Mamdani an easier path. So if you didn't see that video of him sitting on his steps with a picture of his dear grandmother in the background, yep, he has officially dropped out. Next, we have somewhat of an update. A plan to build a $4 billion casino in the Bronx just got the green light from a local advisory committee, moving it forward to state review. The project would turn the old Trump golf course at Ferry Point into a huge casino and entertainment space. Supporters say it could bring thousands of jobs and money to the Bronx. But critics worry about traffic, gambling problems, and added stress on the community. So this news comes right after the Coney Island casino plan was officially shut down by its own advisory committee. Neighbors there pushed back, saying it would cause too much congestion, which, oh yeah, if you've ever been in Coney Island, you know, and change the character of their community. The difference shows how divided people are on casinos. Some see them as a chance for growth, while others see them as a risk for already struggling neighborhoods. So Coney Island Casino was once an idea. It has officially been shut down. Next, we have some good news for NYCHA residents. So New York City has announced that its Big Apple Connect program, which provides free high-speed internet and basic cable for NYCHA residents, will now run through June of 2028. The initiative, already serving about 330,000 people across more than 220 housing sites, was created to close the digital divide by treating broadband access as a basic utility, just as vital as heat and water. Officials say this extension will help ensure that low-income families have reliable access to education, telehealth, and employment opportunities. Alongside the extension, the city secured $1.2 million in funding from Optimum and Spectrum to expand digital and literacy programs in public libraries and launch a new online training hub for NYCHA residents. The city has also been distributing devices such as Chromebooks to further support families. Leaders emphasize that this is not just about internet access, but about equality, making sure public housing residents can fully participate in modern life. Interesting. But now we have our wow story of the week, which is out in Michigan. A 32-year-old mother, Talia Tinawaga, is facing felony charges after prosecutors say that she used $1,800 in food stamp benefits to buy baking ingredients that she used to bake some baked goods that she then sold on Facebook for profit. Authorities allege that this went on from January of 2022 through September of 2023. She was arrested in August and was released on a $50,000 bond. If convicted of this crime, she could face up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. The case has shocked many because of the unusual twist, turning food assistance into foundation of a business. For some, it looks like clear fraud that robs from families in need. For others, it sparks sympathy, with people pointing out the high cost of living and the limited opportunities that sometimes push people to bend the rules just to survive. Advocates vote that food stamps programs like SNAP are among the most heavily monitored in the country. And critics argue that struggling families, especially single moms, are often criminalized for trying to make ends meet. So we definitely want to hear from you. 32-year-old single mom. She used $1,800 in food stamps to buy the ingredients that she used to cook some baked goods, and then went to Facebook to sell these baked goods, making a profit. She is now facing 10 years in prison and $250,000 in fines. Is this a crime? Is this fraud? Or is this just hustle? I don't know. But this has been Vivian with Socially Conscious, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you have any wow stories that you would like to submit, please feel free to direct message me on Facebook. My username there is Vivian BM. And come back every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal listeners and viewers. And thank you, Pastor Steph.
Is it fraud or is it a hustle? Vivian wants to know. Oh my goodness, I just bust out laughing. Thank you, Vivian, for that list of stuff. I'm gonna have a lot of fun talking about this particular item. It's gonna be some real interesting chatter today. All right. So while we get our ladies on the screen, our lady Tamika, our girl Shantice, while they join us, we're gonna say a hearty good morning to Miss Grace. Good morning, Miss Grace. Hope you're doing well and better today. I hope your restful day paid off and you are doing much better. We say a hearty good morning to Serge. Hey, Serge. What's going on, my brother? Thank you so much for joining us. Where's Terrence at? I gotta reach out to Terrence. Man, Terrence ain't been in his room. So I gotta figure out, are they okay? All righty. Maybe he's traveling. Maybe he's on some tropical island, Vivian. Maybe Terrence on a tropical island. We gotta go meet Terrence. All right. Come on, put my girls up. Where's Lady Tamika? Where's Shantice? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Doing well.
Good, good, good. All right. Let's start the chatter. So our Eric Mayor Adams, I'm saying it just like that. Our Mayor Eric Adams is out of the race. Now I'm gonna throw a little piece of information up in here. So Vivian brings the information that he's dropped out of the race because his poll numbers dropped and his support dried up. And now Mom Donnie is the front runner. And, Cuomo and Sliwa is sitting in the background, trying to suck up whatever few votes that Eric Adam had. I think it was only 3 people running in the first place, personally. But I saw a couple of weeks ago, I saw an article that President Trump offered Eric Adams a place in the White House, a job in the White House, so that he could pull out of the race, so that his buddy Andrew Cuomo could actually be the front runner here and actually lower the odds for Mom Donnie, and hopefully Cuomo would win. So that might be one of the reasons why he's dropped out. And we haven't heard yet that he's got a job in the administration. So I just wanted to throw that little piece in to give you ladies some, more information for your chatter. So our Lady Tamika, let's get this ball rolling. What say you about, our mayor dropping out and what this means for November? We only got like a month now.
It wouldn't really surprise me, that he would have a position because, all this kicking and fighting and screaming and hollering and about, I'm not leaving and I'm not going anywhere. It wouldn't surprise me that, if we wait a couple of months down the road, you see the president, all of a sudden you see him in the background, like Coming to America when they were standing behind the king, just, trying to profile, it really wouldn't surprise me, because it seems like, with the changing of the president, it seemed like everything that he was doing was what Trump wanted. You had so much mouth, and then it just, your fire sideswipe.
All right. So Tamika says this doesn't surprise her. I just envision that Coming to America with the King Joffa sitting down and Eddie Murphy's arm up. Is that the pose you're talking about?
That's exactly the pose. The guy that played James, the father on Good Times, he was standing behind with his arm profiling. That's exactly what I see.
Okay. That's exactly what I thought about when you mentioned it. All right. I'm going to be looking for that picture. All right, Shantice, what say you?
It's just sad. It's sad that there's always some type of plot and scheme going on behind the scenes as to what he's like, oh, he's dropping out. It's like, okay, well, obviously, because the numbers weren't working in your favor anyway, sir. But then now to hear that there was an ulterior motive into dropping out because you were already promised something on the back end. So yeah, you come on over here, you scoot on over here and make room for that over there so that you can, because I know it had to have been some talk, whether it actually comes into fruition or not. Some talk of, well, you'll have more power if you take this position or if you take this seat. So don't worry about it. It wasn't just some simple, well, drop out, your numbers ain't good anyway. Come on over here and be a janitor. No. There's been some type of promise that his position, his voice is going to be heard more, counted for more in the White House, wherever it is. And it's like, oh, well, I'm just steps closer to where I wanted to be anyway. Fine. And it's keep going for the old banana in the tailpipe. That's what I see. Like, you just keep falling for the okie doke, and you're going to show up to work in a suit, and they're going to hand you, like in Coming to America, when the father asks Akeem and Simi, do you know how to mop? You showing up in a suit, ready to be in an office, in your office, and they come to you about, do you know how to mop? And hand you the mop and the pail. It's like, but he just keeps falling for it. So whatever.
Okay. All right. Viv, what you think? You think this is, Tamika says he's ready for the pose in the movie, in the picture. Shanti say he gonna show up and he gonna have a mop and a bucket. What you think?
I think it's going to be just that, the both. He's there thinking that this is a come up for him. First of all, you were already losing. So I don't get why Trump would even offer anything to him.
Right.
Because those votes that he will now be giving up ain't going to give Cuomo much of an advantage. So I'm not understanding this whole setup in the first place. But he's definitely going to think that this is a come up for him, only for it to be a janitor position. Like, I don't understand why he would even want it, because you spent, after he partially pardoned him, you've been dancing for Trump since. So why would you now want to take any position with him where you'll have to be dancing for him for the rest of his term? And we were just talking yesterday, thinking that it's been some time since Trump has been president, and it's only been 9 months. So we still got a long ways to go. So why would you want to be in any position where you now got to play these games with him for the next 3 years? Like, that's silly to me. That's really dumb to me. You're really not going to have much power. But of course, Adams being Adams, he thinks that he can outsmart the system, and he's going to be able to accept this position even with the ulterior motives of Trump, and that he's going to be able to still do what he wants to do, and that ain't going to happen.
So Shanti says, how long you gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe? And that's my question. Yo, they don't want you. They offering, they trying to put a black man in the White House. You?
Right, and you gonna be that token?
Right. Yo, stop. You know, you got your move from your little transit police thing. You did the borough president thing. You were the mayor. Stop. Go sit down. Retire. Go play some golf in the old golf thing, or go sit up in the casino somewhere.
Right.
Stop. They're not gonna have anything for you. I'm sorry. I would never believe that this is real. I would never believe that they have any good intention for Mayor Eric Adams in the White House. And maybe he's figuring this is the only way he's going to get his foot in the White House. Well, what's it going to be for all of 5 minutes? Listen, you see with Elon Musk, it didn't last. So it's going to last for you. And they were buddies. Okay? So, no, this is a ploy. This is a mirage. They're making you believe that, we got something for you to kind of get you to slither out. I agree with Vivian. Nobody really had any votes for him anyway. So Mamdani, Cuomo, or Sliwa is not coming up off of these old votes, because there are no old votes. It was like he wasn't even in it.
Right.
So it's like don't bank on that because it just didn't even exist to begin with. So you can't be falling for this. Why are we falling for this? Yo, I think that's what's making me more mad. That you would really think that these people want to offer you something. Like you really gonna be sitting with the no. No. I was like, what a dope. When I read it was like a couple of weeks ago I read this article and I'm like, they want to offer who what? I hope you don't fall for this. And sure enough, here it is 2 weeks later. So he's officially dropped out. Well, you know what? In all honesty, you might as well have dropped out because you
Right.
weren't what's happening no way. So opposed to you getting embarrassed, just drop out. Just drop out. Excuse me. So, like I said, I'm just mad that he's even falling for this bull crap because that's exactly what it is. It's really a mirage, and when you look around, they're gonna pull that rug from underneath your feet, and
Mhm.
you're not gonna be happy. You really gonna look dumb with the egg in your face. Really gonna look dumb. Alrighty, Vivian, you stole my story because this one I had. Yeah, $4 billion casino has been. Now they're not all the way there yet. They're not all the way there, and they are going, like Vivian said, to the old golf course. And I was trying, for those of you who don't know where it is, I was trying to place where it is. And I didn't realize, as you're crossing over the Whitestone Bridge
Mm-hmm.
and you look down, like once you get on the Bronx side, if you look right over on the right hand side, that big old golf, and it used to say Trump on the grass,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're talking about. So that's where they're planning on bringing this casino. It has gotten its green light. It has not gotten its final stamp yet, but there are huge concerns, like Viv said, of why the Bronx, why this place. It's going to bring, they claim, prostitution. They're concerned about the money that's going to be wasted and spent, and now they're going to have new problems in the Bronx with the Bronxites. But they're also claiming, as always, we did this story, I think, last year, or the top of, no, it was last year, how they were trying to remember, they were battling in New York City to try to put a casino there by the 12th Avenue, by the water. And they were saying that, oh, it's going to bring these jobs and it's going to bring money to the community. And they are planning on putting up a hotel and all of this kind of stuff. But the people, they can't believe that some people are actually giving us the thumbs up. Do we need a casino in the Bronx? Will it bring money to the community? Will this push this up, for the Bronxites? Will this push it up for the city? Vivian also mentioned that they have nixed completely the Coney Island plan. And this Coney Island plan has been since I was a kid. They had this whole picture you see here is what they had in the New York Daily News back when I was a kid. It just wasn't
Wow.
black. It just wasn't colored. It was black and white at the time. And they have finally nixed this. But I'm going to add something to your story, Viv, because I want to talk about this. So I wanted to tell you where this was, because the other concern is they're putting a bid. They're about to vote on a bid for a casino to go right next door to Citi Field.
Oh no.
So the other concern is there's traffic across the Whitestone Bridge. There's traffic for the Throsneck Bridge as well, because for all of you who know, Throsneck and Whitestone are neck and neck. But if you put it for City Field, once you get over the Whitestone Bridge, now you
It'll
run
be
into the
more.
next problem, because if you veer to your right, that's when you're going for City Field. So they're like, well, what are we doing here? Do we need all of this? So I wanted to throw that out because I want to talk about this. Do we need all of this casino action in one borough? Because remember, we got Aqueduct.
Mm-hmm.
We would have, right? They're considering it Bronx, but it's kind of Queens-ish for the Trump, and then City Field. So Shantice, let's start with you. Are we going to benefit, as they claim, from all of these casinos, but primarily this one here in the Bronx?
No. And I wish they would try to stop recreating Atlantic City. Because the one out here in which one is it? Okay, so you have the one in the Aqueduct.
That's the resort.
At the resort. And then you have the one, isn't that in Yonkers?
Yeah, Empire.
It's not that far, in between. So pretty much the one in Aqueduct are for the Queens residents. The one in Yonkers would be more for the Bronx residents. Why do you need another one anywhere? Now, I've never been to the one in Yonkers. I've been to the one in Aqueduct. They can keep that thing. Okay. It is just like someone just woke up and decided, you know what? I got some money. Let me buy some machines and put it in this open space and call it a casino. It's like, especially if you know what it is to go to Atlantic City, if you know, even if you're not a gambler, I'm not a gambler, but just the feel, the aura, the whole, it's just like, stop trying to force things. The concerns, I believe, are valid. The traffic, not just traffic driving, the prostitution traffic, the crime traffic. Okay, so now you got another location where people are banking on people to have money. Okay, when you go to Atlantic City, when you're in Vegas, when you're at the Aqueduct, when you're at the Empire Casino in Yonkers, you have to already have in mind that you need to watch your back, because there are people, unfortunately, who are looking to stick you up to rob you. Okay, why are you now putting this in another location and then closer to the Bronx? Like, the Bronx needs another reason to come up with a dead president's plot. Like, what? No. It's just like, just stop, just leave it. Whatever casinos are already up, leave it up. I would love to hear the numbers, like how much money these casinos are pulling in, as far as like the Aqueduct one and the Empire. Just stop, just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
All right, Shanti says no. What say you, Viv?
I say no. The Bronx needs a casino like they need a hole in their head. No. If you are watching the news or reading the news, you see how bad it is out there. The Bronx is always in the news for fires, like everywhere. Always in the news for crime. And it's just not a smart plan. It really isn't, because you're talking about the jobs that it's gonna bring, talking about the money that it's gonna bring, but ain't nobody talking about the money it's going to cost to have all types of police officers and securities and National Guard out there trying to keep this casino safe from the Bronx site. So no, they do not need another casino. Nowhere needs another casino. There's so much more you can be doing with this money. So much more you can be doing with all this money you're putting into a casino.
Oh my gosh.
So no, we don't need another casino.
All right, so that's 2 no's. Are we going for 3, or are we going for 1 on the other side, Tamika?
No, ma'am, we're going right for it. Even 3. I just don't understand. Like, my thing is, how many more casinos do we need? I mean, And then my thing is, I hate this. I'm sure somebody's gonna be offended with what I'm saying, but the Bronx. Who is going? Who in their right mind is going? I need to spend some money. I'm going to the Bronx. As a Brooklynite, because there's always this battle between Brooklyn and the Bronx. I'm not. I don't think about going to the Bronx ever. You put a casino there, that makes me not want to go even more. Right. And when we look at I wish we could do like a tally of which borough has the most, issues. If you ask me, it's the Bronx. Every time you turn around, somebody dying, somebody shooting somebody, and we're talking about traffic. I'm overjoyed that they didn't put it in Coney Island. First of all, Coney Island has always been a family place, where, people, you bring your kids, and you're going to put a casino there. I think that's adding so much travesty, to an already crowded place. If you've ever had to try and go out there on a weekend, or like when they're doing the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, everybody's walking, and, adding a casino can just cause so much more chaos. You're worried about crime. I remember when they were putting the Resorts World out there, they were worried about prostitution and the migrants coming out there. And it was just so much, and adding more to the Bronx, I don't think I'm adding to the ladies. It's a horrible idea.
I'm with you. With all the stuff we need, I'm trying to figure out the mindset that says, for New York, forget about where in New York, whether it's Citi Field, whether it's 12th Avenue, whether it's Coney Island, whether it's because this is Jamaica, South Ozone for the resorts. New York is not a location where we are like overflowing with money and we have no concerns. How many homeless people do we have here? And you can think of $4 billion casino. It's going to be Bally's, by the way. Bally's is one who is got these big scissors who want to cut this ribbon. And I'm saying to myself, just like the rich man, to help to tear down the community, because you're really not uplifting the community. They always want to throw money in our faces, the potential of money. Now, does anybody really look at the land that the resorts sits on? 90% of that land is vacant. And that casino's been there for a minute. So my question is, you haven't even finished developing what you started, which meant that A, it was never really designed to put all that stuff, to hold all that stuff that you claim it was going to hold in the first place. Because why is it taking you so long? Number two, you have not been able to clear the area and make it look the way it needs to look. The gentrification is not happening the way you planned it to happen. So therefore, you ain't putting nothing else out there because it's going to be a waste, because ain't nobody going to support it. Well, that's going to be the same thing here in the Bronx. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And just do what they always do. Take a bunch of poor people and dangle money in their face. Oh, this will bring you jobs. This look good. And this will be this. And this is going to do that. And they're sitting back going, yeah, we're going to have a job. They don't want us in no casino from the Bronx who live in the Bronx. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? They're going to hire Pookie and them, who ain't had no job, who then lost every job that he had, who's gonna come up in there smelling like weed. They're not doing that. No. So no, that's not happening. That's not happening. It's not happening. And it's sad that you would fall for the okie doke. It's sad that Hochul and, because they said Hochul and Adams, they sent reps to sit in this meeting. So my thing is, you know the state of New York City, and you are green lighting all of these casinos to go up. What will it do for this New York City? Because it ain't doing what y'all claim it's going to do. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Leave Empire up there with the Yonkers people and the Westchester people. Leave, what's the one out in Connecticut? Leave that. Go ahead out to Atlantic City, but don't try that. Don't try that for New York City. New York City has the potential of having so much, of providing so much. New York has the potential of so much that it could use to attract people, but not the casinos. So I'm going to put it out there, ladies. What do you think that New York City could use that would be a tourist attraction, that would bring money, that would generate safety? You know, what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I will start with you, Tamika. I'm sorry.
We already have some tours, but if we could find a way to, kind of give people a glimpse of it all, because New York is so vast that, okay, you got the World Trade Center, you got this, you got Coney Island, you got, if there was a way to be able to give them a grandiose but not, like a package deal where, you could go to these particular areas, and stay in that particular region. Maybe you'll go to the World Trade and you'll see some of the sites in those areas, or you'll have another package, go to Central Park, a guided, safe, tour of areas that people want to see, people want to know about things, not just 911, not just the World Trade, but other areas that, need the resources. Central Park has been out there for a while, and I'm sure there are areas that, need some refining, areas, not just always that, other areas that people are not familiar with that need the resources that you could visit and get more information on.
Okay, all righty. Shantice, what do you think New York could use that would be an attraction? Because they're coming here anyway. They're coming here anyway. So what do you think they could use?
Entertainment. Why are you not cultivating more museums that surround the authenticity of entertainment? So like going back, so you have like the Museum of the African American Museum, where they take you from the very beginning of like slavery and all of that, and then you work your way up. Why not do that with the entertainment industry? Even if it didn't have to be like a blacks only thing or white, but just all of the great entertainers, filmmakers, directors, actors, actresses, writers, all of them, and just put all of that, get some curators who study, American film and all of that, and really get that up. And then you could possibly have like scheduling like little skits from like popular movies and to periodically take place during certain times of the day, or if you want to do one a week or whatever. But that would definitely draw, because like you said, they're coming here anyway. They love American entertainment, American entertainers, whether you're into music, film, whatever. They love that. Why are you not doing that? You know, you on 42nd, you have the Wax Museum. That gets visited frequently. Why? Because that's one of their ways they can go into one place and see, oh, that's the wax statue of The Rock and the wax statue of this. You know, it's not a blacks only or white only thing. It's just like all of the icons in the entertainment field that are there. Why not do that? That would draw us. And we from here. You know, let them say that they would put something like that up. I would be there at the ribbon cutting. I want to see, you know, and it's not like we don't watch these things on the regular. We go back and we watch the old because unfortunately the new is just like, you know, but that's something that would continue to pique someone's interest. I think the money going towards that would be well deserved.
Okay. Okay. Vivian, what say you?
I say people love a photo op, especially with, excuse me, excuse me, sorry, especially with social media being as influential as it is. People love a photo op. They got museums out there like the ice cream museum, the color factory museum. Is all these little quote unquote museums that you go to simply just to take photos and post on social media. If they put something like that out here, more of that out here, it will definitely garner jobs. It will garner money. Because if you've ever been to these type museums, it's like, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but it was like, that was a waste of money. Because I'm not necessarily looking to go to a museum to take some pictures here and there, not learn anything, and call it a good time. But people love that stuff. So if you did something like that, even the restaurant we went to yesterday, on a Tuesday night, that place was live.
It was.
Because they were a photo op type restaurant. The food was good, the service was good, but if you see them on TikTok or Instagram, you're drawn by the things that they have at the restaurant where you can go and take pictures in front of. So if they did something like that, restaurants, museums, like skyscraper type things, they will make a lot of money. So I think that they should put more into stuff like that because that's going to last you more. I'm really, like Shanti said, I'm very interested in seeing what the numbers are for all these casinos that they already have out. Are you really making what you thought you were going to make? Obviously not. If, like you said, Pastor, y'all not even able to complete the projects that y'all promised were going to come with these casinos. So if you put something else out there that's more for what's, today's time, which is social media, people are going to flock to these places.
Okay. You ladies have come up with some really good stuff. I was trying to think. I was like, okay, you didn't ask the question now. What you gonna say? Well, as you were talking, as each of you were talking, something was just coming up in my mind, and what I thought about was kind of like mixing everything that you all have brought to the table. So one of the things I've always liked to see is hands-on stuff. So my thing is, you have a huge building with all of the different industries represented in this one building. And what would happen is, you would have a day where you would actually go and it would be hands-on. So if I'm a person who wants to be a construction worker, I could take from child to an elder to the construction floor, and forklifts and cranes. You follow what I'm saying? And put them behind the wheel of these machineries and have a training day. You could spend a day being trained to operate these things, so you can really see if that's something that you want to pursue. And sometimes you look and say, well, I didn't try that. I thought I would like it, and I really don't. And Another flaw that would be for acting, where you would have actors who would invest their time, especially from New York, who would invest their time, who would have workshops for free. For free. We're not charging people anything for or a very nominal fee. A very nominal fee, something that's not going to be expensive. And you would sign up for workshops with these people where you would have to come in and you have to do a monologue and they would rate you, and you could be seen in front of a A-list actor, and now or an A-list actor panel, and now they would actually sit and critique you. Can you imagine what that would do to a young person or a person who don't quite know, still trying to find their niche and trying to really, so then you go there and you go to maybe some sporting floor, and now you have the sport. We have two Major League Baseball, we have basketball, we have football. Get these people in there. Do some training. Do some, again, teach them how to throw. You know what I'm saying? It's like so many things you could do that would help to cultivate New York. And the only people that would run this would be New Yorkers. So only people that would run it. Only people sitting behind the wheel are straight New Yorkers. New Yorkers that people know. And this way, it would help to build your ego. It would help to build, it would help to, not your ego, your confidence. That's what I want to say. Your confidence, your self-esteem. And now you can walk out of this place saying, I actually did that. And I want to pursue it now.
That's
you know what kind of money that would draw to New York? If people could come to New York, and first of all, you don't even know half the people that are really from New York who are in these industries sometimes. And yes, I would say throw up in the rap, the music industry. Let them sing and teach them how to play instruments. Or, oh my gosh, that would draw so much attention to New York. And you could take that one golf course or that one resort's empty lot over there. And can you imagine all the industries in one building, building up people? All the people in New York. Now you got jobs. Now you got connections. Now you have positivity. Now you've got New Yorkers building New Yorkers. But still you got people coming in from all over. And you would have to, can you imagine the waiting list? And like Shanti said, like you all have said, the museums, the African American Museum. Why couldn't we go to like a Native American museum? I would really love, I don't know about y'all, but I would really love to see like the Native American museum built like the African American Museum, that takes you from scratch and you could literally see their journey. There's so many things that we could get done that I think that we're wasting money on. And now there's just 4 suggestions. That's just 4.
Right. Flushed out.
4 suggestions on the fly. On the fly. We ain't said, well, we'll come back next week and bring your idea to the table. So, all the money that they're trying to waste. We got to check in from Majesty. Hey, Majesty. Thank you for joining us. Serge says that Jay-Z's casino in Times Square was not approved.
Amen.
Serge, because I was wondering what ended up happening, because that was what we were talking about the last time. Excuse me. Not only Jay-Z's casino, but Nas. Remember, Nas was also one who was backing a casino, and I don't know whatever happened.
Back in that casino or back in another casino?
No, it's separate. That was separate. Yes.
They should know that.
They finish adding all this stuff. We're going to be like Atlanta when it comes to traffic.
Yeah.
We'll never, if you're on this side, fine. You wait an hour before you can get on the other side. And it's traffic is already crazy enough.
Right. I was going to say, do we need another reason for traffic?
No.
That's why they took out all the tolls, the toll booths.
Right.
So now you're going to put something like this.
And there's still traffic. And I'm trying to understand how, if there is no one who is challenged with counting change, is there still traffic on the bridge and everybody can just drive through whether you have an easy pass or not? What is the holdup? What's the problem?
That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. We got to check in from our girl, Teresa. Hey, Teresa. We got to check in from our girl, Kyra. Hey, Kyra. Thank you all for joining us today. All right. So we got the Big Apple Connect program in NYCHA. Vivian brought this to us before, where Spectrum and, the big wigs of cable are now going to provide their residents with internet access, and it will run now till June of 28. And they're treating it as, what does it say? Well, let me go back. They got $1.2 million that they're putting out there. And they mentioned, guess what, ladies? The public libraries.
Yes.
Just got finished talking about that. So, this is something that is a necessity, because they said this will build employment opportunities, so forth and so on. It's not just for entertainment, but it will definitely help them keep connected, for the lower income individuals. A plus, or let them get their own. Viv.
It's a plus. It's nice. I mean, I just wish that they would think about the middle class people, because we need some things too. But it's very nice for them. It's very nice for the NYCHA residents to be able to receive the free high-speed internet, to receive Chromebooks, and the fact that they're including the libraries. I mean, I'm not really sure how much it'll really help the libraries, because they're talking about the digital literacy program in the public libraries. But how many people are really going to go to the libraries when they need help learning, technology, when they have their grandchild, their niece, their nephew in the home with them?
Right.
So it's not really going to help the public libraries, but it's nice that they, thought about them. Maybe some people might utilize it. We don't know. So it's nice that they thought about it, but I'm just wondering where they're getting all this money from, because I thought the U.S. was broke. But every time we turn around, they got millions here, billions there that they're finding for these type programs. So it's good to see that they're utilizing it for something that's going to be of use to people that are in the lower income bracket. So that's a nice thing.
Okay. Tamika, Lady Tamika, what say you regarding, they're pouring all this money into high-speed internet for the residents of New York City Housing Authority?
I think that is a lovely thing, for you to be able to have access, that you're not excluded because you can't afford, high-speed internet. For those that will use it for the benefit of what it's for its purpose, I think it's a beautiful thing. I just don't want to see, you utilizing high-speed internet for crazy stuff. You're always going to find somebody that does it, just doing all kinds of weird stuff, but the fact that, Lil Johnny doesn't have to try and that he doesn't suffer because he doesn't have access. I just want them to make sure, who's there to govern what you're looking at, what you're accessing, with everything that we're given. Unfortunately, we're in a day and time where somebody has to play the babysitter.
Okay. All righty. Shantice, good or bad?
I agree with what's been said already. I think it's It's pretty good that you're offering this. Again, I think we just spoke a couple of weeks ago about, like, okay, so it was like when they spoke about giving all of those laptops to the kids. And it's like, okay, that's great, but are they utilizing it for what they're supposed to be utilizing it for? Is it so? For the most part, people use the internet for the Wi-Fi. They use for streaming. Whether they're streaming themselves or to watch things that are going on. I know things we ain't supposed to be watching is still really prevalent out here, but I mean, I guess again for those who can't really afford to keep up with like the good, because like nothing like speaking to somebody like, oh well, who's your provider? And some people be like, I'd rather not say. So it it can help, really help with that. I know this was Spectrum, right?
Yes.
I know with Spectrum, when it comes to like streaming from like these services, HBO, Netflix, all of that, their picture and everything is great. Their Wi-Fi,
trash.
Complete garbage. Complete garbage. So it's kind of like, are you really doing something, or are you just kind of throwing a bone and now you get to stand in with this big old board? Like, yay, we're giving away good picture, but don't try to get on your device and access the internet because you're going to get kicked offline in about 2 minutes. So have fun with your 2 minutes. It's like, it's kind of giving me that too. Like, did you go for something that you knew was going to be of really good quality, or did you just say, well, this is what we can get our hands on here? So again, don't do this bone and y'all be happy with whatever you could utilize it for.
Okay. We got to check in from our Pastor KL. Hey, Pastor KL. And for the first time, Pastor Charlone's in the house. Hey.
Morning.
Charlene.
Hey,
You. Love and miss you as well. Thank you so much for just hopping in this morning, trusting that you're doing well. So, I mean, to me, it's a nice move, for those who cannot manage it. And again, just wrapping it up with what you ladies said, just hoping that they do what they're supposed to do. They said this is for employment opportunities. Everything you have to apply online now. So you can't say that, you can't get online or you got to use your little phone only or whatever. So, now that they've given the children Chromebooks, y'all have provided them with the internet access, now you ain't got no excuse at all. You ain't got no excuse. So hopefully, this will definitely be a good thing, All right. Our wild story. I would just bypass all of these and just get to this wild story. So you have a 32-year-old single mother, excuse me, who's receiving SNAP benefits, who took $1,800 of her SNAP benefits to buy baked goods as an investment into her baked goods business that she promoted on social media. So from 22 to 23, she used those funds as profit. Some people are saying that, hey, you do what you got to do. As long as the kids ate, do what you do. If that's a jump start, and then when you look up, your baked goods will provide an opportunity where you will never have to need another SNAP benefit, do what you got to do. Others say, yo, it's fraud. You were given that to feed your family. And that's the only thing you should have been focusing on. Now, because of this, she is risking a $250,000 fine and other charges. I can tell you right now, they're going to be recouping, or either she will never get the benefits for a certain amount of time. They'll either ban her for like 5 to 10 years. They can ban you for you don't get any more benefits, and whatever else they can drum up as a charge. So, as Vivian asked, fraud or hustle? Lady Tamika, what say you?
The issue is when she decided to use. Can people stop? Please, 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 pretty please. Stop with this technology. Technology is amazing, but if nobody knows what's but you. Nobody knows, whether you had to struggle or whether you trying to, do your come up. Nobody knows. And you made it worse by posting on Facebook. Mama, please. Which everybody that gets busted nowadays is because of technology. Like, okay, fine, you got the baked goods, and for all we know, you're a real good cook and you doing your thing. You know how many big mamas back in the day used to do that? And they would have a rent party, they would have this, they would have, but they told
parties.
They told the neighbors told the people street, go in front of the house in your neighborhood and not like a lemonade stand, but your baked goods. Why did you put it on Facebook? Now you caught, and now they're gonna take every dime that they've given you plus some, and now you got a fine and possible jail time. Technology is what got her. There are plenty of people that find different ways to do stuff. You give somebody your food stamp card because they fixed your house. They fixed the air conditioning. I'm telling all the business, but you don't put it on Facebook.
She said because they fixed your house.
All right, so you said all of that. I heard an answer to this question.
I think she was trying to make it do what it do and got busted.
That ain't the question. Listen, I'm a little more intelligent than that. We ain't asking what her intent was. We're asking you what you consider it to be. Fraud or hustle?
It's a hustle.
Okay? Yo, it's a hustle. You just stupid. All right, Shantice. Fraud or hustle?
Okay, so before I give my answer real quick, I just want to know, how did they find out?
That's what I want to know.
Did you put cupcakes today, 1 p.m., 3rd floor, apartment 3B, #SNAP benefits? Like, how did they find out? How did they find out? Because you can't tell me. You're not going to tell me that there's someone from the SNAP department or organization who their job is to just sit and monitor social media. Like, got another one. Wait. They must be selling that because it's the 3rd time they done made chicken this week. Everybody eating all that chicken. No, you intentionally had to have put that in the post. Why? No one has to know. Listen, when you're a business owner, one of the phrases that we use is, they ain't got to know all that. It's none of their business. So whether you're into clothing, fashion, whether you're into culinary, whether you're in whatever it is, your consumers do not have to know the process. The process is none of their business. Most of the time, they don't care as long as they know they're not eating, wearing, or contributing to anything that is harmful in any way. Some people care. As long as it's that, they don't care. All they want to know is, I got the money. I'm willing to spend it. Is the product ready? That's it. That's all they care about. They don't need to know whether you have to borrow the money for the baking powder or baking soda or none of that. Why does that have to be known? So because of that, because not only are they going to confiscate your benefits, they're also going to come and get them cupcakes. Okay, so don't think you're going to be able to sell the rest of those cupcakes. They're coming to get those too. Okay, but it was a hustle, because at the same time, my thing is, for the most part, you're getting these benefits, because I didn't hear she stole. Like, she was able to tap into the system, and she was only supposed to get 300, but somehow she got 1,800 on the card. If this was her money and she was utilizing it to multiply it, because there's some people who don't get enough SNAP benefits. So there's some people who get more than what they actually need. We knew someone who got way more than what they needed, and the person kept banking it up. And by the time they went to go use it, you would have thought it was an American Express credit card. Because it's like, how you got all this money on this SNAP card, ma'am? How? But listen, if it's yours, again, it's none of your business. Let me tell you why they're mad. Because they're not profiting from it. That's why they're mad. So this SNAP organization gave you $300 a month. How dare you now use our 300 and flip it, and now you got 800? Well, isn't that what we help all these foreigners do? When we go and patronize from Chinatown and all that, we're helping the money and opportunities that we give them. We now help them flip that. So shut up. But because she put hashtag SNAP benefits in that post is why she got caught. But it wasn't it wasn't for that she didn't steal it. It was a hustle. But you gotta listen, sometimes you can't do every department in your brand. Obviously, you're not the paperwork person. You're not, don't be head of the marketing anymore. You just bake. And you hire somebody with the money that you make. Not like Lady Tamika said, and now you offer the card as payment. No. The money that you make from the cupcakes, pay someone to do your marketing strategy, because you are not allowed to log on anymore and post about these cupcakes. You just bake, and you'll go a lot further. But that was a hustle. It wasn't fun.
Okay. Hashtag
SNAP benefits.
I'm putting that in the title of our thing. That's gonna be the name of this episode. Hashtag.
That's been what she put.
Vivian. Wait, fraud or hustle?
Fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It ain't no different than the people who stand online and be like, oh, wait, how you paying? How you paying? You using cash? You could give me the cash and I'll let you use my food stamps. It ain't no different than that. I'm sorry. I understand. She's a single mom, and this was a good idea for her to get a little come up. Wonderful idea. Until she used the hashtag SNAP benefits and messed herself up. She wasn't good enough at just being the local bake shop for the hood. She wanted to go national, and she wanted her name out there.
That's why she
had to do what she had to do. She had to, because I know people do it. You know the lady that lived in NYCHA. Everybody know her in NYCHA. You go to her, she got the plate. She cooked Spanish food. She got the plates for sale. You got the lady who sell the drinks. They out there, but they're just not big. Just, we know about them. She wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for her. She had to go big, and now she's facing 10 years in prison and $250,000 in fines. So it's fraud at the end of the day. It's still fraud. Even though it was a great idea, we all understand, but it's fraud, and now she has to face the consequences.
She probably used that internet that they gave them for free.
Right.
That's why they're giving it away, so they can tap into what you're doing.
Add that in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't forget the internet and the Chromebook.
Right, and the Chromebook. Right. Yep.
That's their way to tap into your activity.
Mm-hmm.
Banana in the tailpipe. That should be the title. Stop falling for the old banana in the tailpipe.
So I was waiting, and I'm with Vivian. I hate to break your hearts. No matter how we slice this pie, they have given you this benefit to feed your family.
Right.
anything different, anything, no matter how your ingenuity is running, your creativity is high, it is fraud. And the bad part about it is, even if, let's play this game, even if I said, all right, it's 4 in our family, and they gave us $400, and I took my 100 and I ain't eat. I fed my kids, but I took my $100 portion and I bought the baked goods and I flipped it. It's fraud. It's still fraud. And again, like I agree. You know, we understand, because I'm gonna be honest. I'm a creative person as well, and I'm gonna flip something. I can't keep $2, but it's fraud. Now here's the thing. Here's why you stupid too. If you all that good, play the game. Take $25. Bake 4 cakes. Take that money and reinvest it. So you only then stole once. You only committed fraud one time. But Jack behind $1,800? Are you for real? So not only did you go overboard with your marketing, but it don't take no 18. Listen, if you know what you're doing, it don't take you no $1,800 to make this thing happen. Again, like Vivian said, y'all know Big Mama, like Tamika said, she used to bake them sweet potato pies. She ain't took no $1,800. She didn't pull that money up out that change purse in her bra, send Pookie to the store, go get me 5 sweet potatoes, this here, some flour, some 1 can of evaporated milk, whatever she gonna need. All she needed was that one investment, and she flipped it. And she took it and she flipped it. And she took the $5 that she spent and she made it 15. And the 15 became 30. The 30 became 60. You are an idiot. You're a straight idiot, first of all, for taking all that money if you really needed to know, if you really needed to make the investment. Number 2, you're the next idiot who got on social media. Like Tamika said, everybody's downfall is because they got to promote what they do. Why would anybody need to know? Listen, sell to the kids in your school. Sell to the people in your building. You got friends. You got family. Go to the baby's father. Listen, go to your job on payday and take these pies. And let them buy these pies like we used to sell candy bars. Yo, make it happen. I could not believe the story. I just couldn't. And when Vivian said fraud or hustle, no matter how we slice this pie, it's fraud. You know, it's a hustle as you fraud.
Right.
It's a hustle. How you fraud.
It's true. Because the SNAP benefits is not the SNAP benefits, because here's my thing. I don't care whether I was getting food stamps or not, or SNAP benefits or not. You can't tell me where the money came from.
Right. That's what it's just like. What did you take a picture with the card next to you? Like, what happened?
You can't tell me.
Right. That's exactly what I was envisioning. Like, come get these pies. Like, what? What did you do?
You can't tell me that I did not go to my son's father and say, listen, you know what? I need some money. All I need to do is for you to give me an extra $50 this month. And I can make this happen. You know, I go to my mother, go in the bank, Ma, and get me $50 extra, please.
Well, they said that they're saying there's no definitive answer as to how she got caught, but there was an investigation where they found the receipts and they had the evidence that proves that she used the SNAP benefits to buy the ingredients Now, how they found out, somebody probably got jealous and snitched on her. We don't know. But
Yes.
they definitely have evidence that she used her SNAP benefits food stamp
Yeah.
card to buy the ingredients.
Viv, listen to me.
Where you getting the receipt
You
from?
can, because remember, when you buy from the SNAP benefit card, all that identification
Right.
is the track record. All them numbers show up on your receipt. It
Yep.
tells you how much money you got left. It tells you everything. All they got to do is track that number to that supermarket and tell them to flip out what was on that purchase. That ain't no real investigation to be done. This
Wait,
this is why I said she's stupid, because there was no way you could have done this a million if you took $5 out of. You can't tell me if I went food shopping each month and I bought two things of if I bought 2 for $7 flour, 8 sweet potatoes, 3 for $5 cans of evaporated. You follow what I'm saying? These are regular everyday food purchases. You wouldn't know that I took it and baked the cake with it. That's what I'm saying. This is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupider than her being on Facebook. Just your purchasing practice. That's what I'm saying. Nobody would have ever been able to say that you did not go to your people and say, you know what? I don't really have it, but I got a plan, and all I need is a good $20, and I could flip this. Yo, I could make this happen.
what? But Pastor Steph, wait, because now I'm getting a little mad. They said they found receipts. So all I'm envisioning now is like when we watch the first 48 and they have footage of the couple who committed the crime because they done went to the hardware store and bought the duct tape, the rope, the gasoline, all the stuff they used to bound and kill the person. So you mean to tell me y'all got time?
No, that ain't the way it happened.
No, but that's just all because when I heard receipts, that's the part that had me like, wait, where they find? So then they go through her garbage. Like, what is happening? See, either you running your mouth, she's running her mouth way more than you know who she's reminding me of. Remember the movie Fresh? And Chucky kept running his mouth as to who they was running drugs for. Everybody knew he was working for Escobar. Everybody, everywhere he went, they knew he was running the drugs for Escobar. So not only, this is why she'll need to be head of marketing. Not only are you using the hashtag on social media, but now you walking through the building telling people that you're using these SNAP benefits to buy these products. Because how is it now that they found who cares about receipts for baked goods? Who cares?
That's what I'm saying.
Who cares?
They didn't find the receipt like rumbling through no garbage. Because let me tell you something. She ain't keeping no receipts. That's part of her garbage. She's not keeping receipts. That's not happening like that. They didn't find receipts. No, that's the way they terming it in this article. But there's no way in the world she all that savvy. She got some bookkeeping practice. Then she got an accounting department, and they got all the receipts so they could do checks and balances. That ain't happening because come on, stop.
No, but she's ahead of that too. That's
right.
how they found the receipts.
This is May's receipts. This is April's receipts. No, she's not doing that. She's too dumb to do that. This is what I'm saying. What she did, if she was smart, she could have listen, they didn't say she bought duct tape, cement, rope.
What did you buy? A kitchen?
That's what I'm saying. She bought flour. She bought sugar. She bought cocoa. She bought food items with her food card. If she was smart, all she had to do was buy 2 for $7 flour, cocoa that's on sale. I bought 3 for $7 eggs the other day.
Oh man, she's calling the sales out.
I'm telling you, because this is all you gotta do. They would have never been able, if they went to the if they went and they tracked your purchase, they would not have been able to say, oh, she sold baked goods on this month because we see she bought this. Do you know if you're smart? Listen, if you get SNAP benefits, you ain't got a whole bunch of money, period. You gotta make them SNAP benefits. They didn't say they found her kids hungry. So she had to stretch them SNAP benefits. So automatically it shows that she ain't got no money if she getting SNAP benefits. So you need to know how to shop to make it happen. So I'm telling you how to make it happen. I didn't made 5 cakes from this month's SNAP benefits. Nobody knows. I didn't made 5 cakes. I didn't made $150. I never have to touch my SNAP benefits again. Because I take that same $150 and I reinvest it, and now I start all over again. And the next month I have $222. And I take that and I put it on the side and I reinvest that same $25. You're just dumb. You're straight dumb. No matter how you slice this pie, Pastor KL says that's how Patty made the patty pies. I'm serious. I'm serious. And maybe I've just been at this too long, where I've done this for so long. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to make this happen. I'm having a play, and we need to sell tickets, and we need to run a kitchen. And I need to make some money out this kitchen. I need to sell tickets. So I take me a good $55 and I buy me some stuff to put in that kitchen. And when I come out of that kitchen, we counting $352 for my $50 investment. It don't take no $1,800 to make no cakes. Really? Come on. She need to be in jail. She need to be in jail because you're dumb. You're dumb, and you're dumb. When Vivian was talking, and then when she said the social media part, I was done. I was like, go ahead and tell me. So you might as well go ahead and fan all the dollars at the same time. This is
they're gonna have the first 48 food edition next. Because it's just too much. It's like, listen, first of all, if I'm doing this to survive, I ain't got time to post. If I'm doing this, listen, I just got finished talking to my friend who also does embroidery fashion. We do embroidery fashion. He does embroidery fashion amongst other things. And one of our complaints is our phones are loaded with footage, with content, but no one would ever know because there's no time to post anything. Because if this is a business we're running, these are brands we're running. So you can't just put up a regular picture, put up a regular video. No, you got to take time to go through and edit and all that. Ain't no time for that. By the time you talking to customers, talking to clients, out there petitioning for jobs, half the time we don't have to go looking for work. The orders come to us, but you still got so many things that have to be put in alignment and in order. There's no time to even check other people's social media. So when you research and they say, look at your competitors, I'm sorry, sir. There's no time for me to look at my competitors, okay? I just got to rely on the Holy Spirit to let me know what I should be charging because I ain't got no time to research nothing. So if I'm selling these cakes or cupcakes or tarts or whatever, because I got to make sure my kids eat tomorrow, how do I have time to now unlock my phone, hit the Facebook or Instagram or TikTok button, whatever, and now go on and post? How do you have time to do that if this is a real hustle? How?
Oh,
that's one of our complaints. Every brand and business owner that I come across now, that is one of the top complaints. Like, yo, I need to catch up on my content. I need to post. But where is the time? Because it's like, you got to make a choice. Do I post or do I make things that's worth posting? Because if I just focus on posting, after a while, I'm not going to have anything to post because I ain't got no time to make nothing. So it's just like, how do you even have time to do that? If this is really because your kids got to eat.
I'm thinking of how many things. Y'all done heard of the cake man? You know what I'm saying? He found out that he could bake, and then he went to Vivian's, and she had a kids party, and he went to Tamika, who's her niece is having a party,
Right.
and went to Shanti's, whose granddaughter is having a party. You know, this is what you do. You just put it out there, and you just say, listen, you know, and you know, you gotta take some time while the kids at school, or while you got one eye open and you nodding, watching YouTube how to decorate a cake. You know, this is the type of stuff you spend in investing in perfecting your craft. So again, you don't have to use a lot of money. And again, now you won't have SNAP benefits, and guess what? You clearly ain't got no marketing savvy, so you can't sell no cakes. So not only are you not getting the SNAP benefits, but you can't even sell the cakes that you got caught for purchasing the items for. So now how you feeding your kids? How y'all making it happen now? Because you just were really unwise. There's so many ways. You got kids going to school. You got 30 kids in one class you could sell a cake to.
You could have snuck some cupcakes in your kid's backpack. Like, listen, here's what you can't teach that because you don't know marketing. It was like, here, this is what you do. You take this, you tell all your classes, make sure they got exact change. Okay, these are $3 each. You ain't no time to be making no change or nothing. Go to the teacher last and let her know you selling it. And that kid could have been making a killing in that school, and no one would have. You know what they would have chucked it up as? Oh, this is so cute. He or she is selling cupcakes. Oh, this is. I was talking to a middle school student last school year, and she told me how she bakes cookies, and took a wad of money out her bag. And I'm like, girl, if you don't get them dollar bills situated before you drop it, or somebody know you carrying it, these kids could sell in there. And my first question wasn't, well, where is the capital coming from? Where's the capital? You know, is this your money? Is this your parents' money? Who cares? All you see is a little kid in here, you know, just hustling.
Because you make your own money.
Right.
All you really need is the one-time investment. If you're smart, listen, if you took $15 to have your initial investment, all you need to do is make another $15. That's it. And if you're smart, you're gonna price out your product so that you have $15 at the end. So now you got reinvestment money. So that's why I said it doesn't take a whole lot to get this done, where you would jeopardize, like I said, you could never catch me on no fraud. I may have fraud, I may have done it. I'm guilty. But that one time, it would just take. So I didn't spend my May's benefit. By the time June's benefit hit, I didn't got my plan. And by the time July's benefit hit, my plan has already been already out there. I didn't did it. I ain't got to go into July, August, September, October. That's it. I ain't gonna lie, I said it for one time, but that's it. And that's how you have to plan. I mean, and I shoot me already. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Pastor Steph, you're telling them the fraud. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I understand. I get it. Who wants to be on Snap for the rest of your... Listen, we were in the restaurant yesterday, and on the screen, they kept putting up the government shutdown. And it was saying all of the things that would not be touched by the government shutdown. Social Security benefits, Medicare and Medicaid, this and that. Then they had all the things that was going to be touched by the government shutdown. Can I tell you the first thing on that list?
SNAP.
SNAP benefits.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing on every list they brought up. No matter which correspondent, all the items that will be affected by the government shutdown, SNAP benefits was at the top. Excuse me, I get it. Who wants to be in this for the rest of their lives? Listen, I'm not saying, listen, let me just stop there. Let me say, go back and play.
Got the stuff I'm about to give y'all another sale. She already told you about the flour, the eggs. Now the milk gonna be on sale next.
I don't agree, but I understand. And for people who ain't in the Lord, listen, you're gonna do it anyway. Might as well be smart. You know, I get it. I honestly get it. You do not want to have to spend another day at the mercy of this government. Where you don't want to have, where you won't have anything to spend on your children because they're taking people's food. And every time I saw that list and the SNAP benefits were hitting, was the first thing on that list, it disgusted me. All the money this country has, you're not going to feed people who are eligible so the children won't eat? The parents can't eat to even go to work? How is she supposed to go to work if she can't even sustain her health? The first thing we need to do to sustain good health is to eat well. And that's what they always talk about. They say that we can't eat healthy because we don't have the money to eat healthy.
Yeah, it takes money to eat healthy.
So now you're going to take the very money that would allow them to eat healthy. So the kids going to school and they got to eat while they're at school because when they come home, there's no food. You don't want mama out there hustling, prostituting, and stealing, and daddy stealing. You don't want all of this crime in order to eat. But the first thing you gonna cut when the government gets shut down are SNAP benefits. So like I said, I don't know, I understand. You need to do what you need to do. So that's why I say be smart. Don't be dumb. You can make it happen. And just do what you need to do and get on about your business. You don't get caught up like this. Because again, now you took to people Chromebook, their free internet access, their free SNAP benefits, and now you out there. Hey, come on. You ain't got listen, you can't spend a year. Forget if they don't give her 10 years. Okay, so let me put this out here before we go. We got 2 minutes to do this. What should be the punishment, Tamika?
Well, she's going to have to serve time. They're going to take her money automatically, And the sad part about it is, you thought you were making it, and now you have fine and time. You're going to learn the lesson. The sad part about it is now, if you serve time, who's going to watch your children? Now the children are also going to suffer. So we're looking at, they said 10, if not 10, then at least 2 years.
All righty. So Tamika says give her 2 years. Shantae, what say you?
I say just take all the stuff she baked already, because that's going to kill her. And if y'all wanted to reduce her monthly, because it's not like she's just a single person, she's a single parent. So, unless she's like these crime shows that we watch where the mother is the head of the cartel and the grown kids are now assisting in the crime, she got kids. They didn't have anything to do with her bad marketing skills. So maybe reduce it and make her, confiscate, like we better not find out that you've been selling anything else. As far as time, I don't know. It's even with you, Pastor Steph, saying this. It's part of me is really hard to feel sympathy for the government because really that's who she stole from. She didn't steal from people. She stole from the government that still has money and it's still bad. And with all the stupid stuff y'all doing with this money, listen, just cut her benefits in half and make her do community service. As far as like her going to jail, I don't know about that. Personally, I don't know. Just cut it down because she starts to feed her children, her kids, not adult kids, her children, and yeah. But I don't know about jail time. I don't know.
Alrighty, Vivian.
I think they should just make her pay the money back. The 1,800 that she supposedly mismanaged or misused. Just let her pay that back. Maybe some community service and leave that lady alone. She ain't commit no real crime to be doing no 10 years in prison. That's ridiculous. Make her pay the money back. Maybe cut some of her benefits, like Shanti said. Community service, and leave her alone.
Alrighty. All right, the ladies are quite lenient. I'm in agreement. Recoup your money. Recoup your money. Take some of it back each month, and with a firm warning, if you're caught, you will be removed from the benefit, plan. And whenever the community, make her shop for people or something.
No, she can't shop because then she'll be talking about the money that people giving her.
All jokes aside, yeah, I think, just take the money back. There are other things that you need to worry about. And, people would say, hey, we let all of them get away with it like this. Like I said, I don't agree, but I understand. And, I can't beat you up for your plan, but I can surely beat you up for the execution of your plan. You get Jackass of the Year, for real. Dong. All right, ladies. It's been real. I got more real for my Instagram today. Thank you very much for your contribution to today's conversation, and we pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day, ladies.
Oh my goodness gracious. Wait, Shantice, put yourself back on the screen for a minute.
Why you need me to give you more hashtags?
No. Hashtag highlight beats.
Yes.
Take this
out.
I
wish I would have put her well, I'll still put her information in the chat, but I would have pulled her logo up. Yes. Hashtag highlight beats. Who is responsible? If you go to highlight beats on Instagram, if you go to my Instagram, Shanti's brand, my Facebook, Shanti's brand, all of my makeup is done by Highlight Beats. She just continues to excel in her work. She is phenomenal. She is accessible. She is affordable. Hashtag
minimize me as you talk.
It has to be all about me. She is accessible. She is extremely affordable. She is amenable. And she works really hard and really, really well. So regardless of the occasion, birthdays, events, big sales, whatever, contact Highlight Beats to get your face done and beat. She is amazing. So make sure, I'll put her information in the chat as well. But yes, Highlight Beats, Highlight Beats. Make sure you contact her.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. All right. Ooh. What are we talking about today? Let me go take a look at our list. A list of Eric Adams, coming off the ticket. We're talking about fraud. There's a plan. He's not coming off the ticket, so that, someone else can get a real chance or whatever have you. There's a plan that's been concocted. A plan has been concocted that says, if I pull you off and give you a seat in the administration out here in the White House, then the Republican can get the attention that he needs to get the votes, because we want a Republican to win here in New York City. Fraud. We got, this, what do you call it? Casino that's coming up in the Bronx, and all these casinos that are surfacing, and, with the promise that there'll be all these jobs, and the best is coming to New York City. And we know good and well that casinos coming to New York City is not the best thing for New York City. It's not. Not for the people of New York City, not for, the government of New York City. Fraud. We've got this, Big Apple Connect program, in NYCHA, and, it's a wonderful plan that can, go into effect. They're extending it for another couple of years, so that, the benefit of having access for employment opportunities and things like that, will reign. And, can I find a little fraud in there? Yeah, because good and well, the majority of this is not going to be used for no employment search. But what are you going to do? This last business here, unfortunately, we do the right things for the wrong reasons, and we do the wrong things for the right reasons. And that's man. We hatch these plans all the time in our brain, and they're good plans sometimes. But again, it's breaking the law. They have given you these SNAP benefits to strictly provide food for your family. However, with the government shutdown, then that doesn't seem to matter, huh? How does that work? Where, because we don't have any money, we're going to take away food. With all the things on the table, that's something that we're going to sacrifice? Fraud. Yeah. But let's go back to us, because we can't help what the government does. They're always going to be fraud. That's going to be something that they are going to be known for. However, like I said earlier, and if I hurt a couple of feelings, I don't know what to tell you. But again, sin is lawlessness. So what do we expect from people who are not, who don't care about the law? There are people out here, she's trying to get her hustle on to, I would like to say, she doesn't want to have to stay on this SNAP benefits forever. And I don't want to remain vulnerable. That every time they mention some cuts to benefits, I always got to shiver, because I can't afford for you to take $25 out of my benefit package, because, I won't be able to feed my family properly. That's no different than, you take your benefit card, like Vivian said, and go stand up at the line, or people are walking to the store. There was a lady, young girl, I was in a supermarket, and she was pushing her baby stroller through the store, and she was stopping at certain people. So she stopped with me, and she said, can you tell me how you're going to pay for your food? And so first of all, I don't care whether you got a baby or not. Don't be walking up on me asking me questions like that. You don't need to. So should I say cash to let you know that I'm getting ready to pull a wad of cash out of my pocket, and I got a shopping cart full of food? So if I say cash, now I'm walking around. But again, the bargaining chip was, can you give me your cash and I'll pay with my benefit card? And I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And I felt really bad, because I don't walk with cash. it's just something that I just don't do because I don't seem to handle cash well. $50 gets broken and then I don't know where my money went. But when I purchase with a card, I can itemize everything I've done. I don't have to go with my memory. So I didn't even have money to and that's what my heart wanted to do. I wanted to actually just say, here's 10, 15, whatever money, just take this. Now, I'm assuming that she's not using it for drugs. I mean, I'm just going to assume that. Again, she could be doing it. I don't know. But, I'm looking at her and I know people who get benefits, but they need Pampers or they need other things that, toilet paper or, things that SNAP benefits don't cover. And my thing is, I could not help her because I surely was not going to no ATM machine at that point. And I said, okay, Steph, you got to start walking around with cash. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, breaking the law is breaking the law. And you think about the word of God that says, when you break one commandment, you've broken them all. And people think that's extreme. It's like, well, listen, I committed adultery, but I didn't steal. I didn't murder anybody. I didn't dishonor my mother and father. I didn't make any idols. Oh, you did. Because when you committed adultery, you lied. That's bearing false witness. When you committed adultery, you stole. Come on, steal somebody else's husband or wife. When you committed adultery, you murdered someone's spirit. Bible speaks to that in and of itself. To hate your brother is equivalent to murder. So we try again. I brought this up yesterday. Our rationalization, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't at the end of the day. What we need to do is focus on what God is saying. And as much as we understood that this woman, this young lady, was getting her hustle on to improve the conditions of her family, she was still breaking the law. She was still breaking the law, no matter how you slice this pie. And we can't condone that. And I don't agree, but I understand. And listen, I said what I said. And like I said, I'm talking about someone who's a non-believer. But a believer has to say, I need to trust God. Do I go and I collect $5 from 10 people I know? I've now got this $50 investment because I know I could bake my behind off. And all I need is this chance. So Shantice, you got $5 for me? Here's my plan. Tamika, do you have $5? Here's my plan. Viv, you got $5? Here's my plan. I'm not asking you got $5 to lend me. No, but I'm going to my people and I'm laying this plan out and saying, listen, that's all I need from you. That's all I'm asking is your initial investment is $5. Now, somebody would say, you know what, girl, don't even worry about it. I got you. You know what? You give me $50 back in 1 year. I got $50 that I can spare. You got 1 year, but I believe in you. That's how God's people will get it done. We cannot hatch our own plan to make it happen by any means necessary. That's what the streets do. And I'm here to help you understand that if you're trying to live by God's standards, if you're trying to live a godly way, then God will always give you a plan. Always. Always. Always give you a plan. Because he doesn't want his people having to rely on no government. Not like that. He doesn't want his people to be living from paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes we make moves that land us there. Sometimes God has to punish us and leave us there. But I don't care what happens. If you trust God, God's going to give you a plan and a way out. And it's always, it's always going to be a clean way out. It's not going to be no hatched plan that's got a bunch of holes in it, where you can't even find your way through, and you committing so many stupid decisions and breaking so many laws and rules that you gonna always be at the mercy of standing up in court or losing a benefit. And when I say losing a benefit, I'm not just talking about the government benefit. There's benefits in life that you lose. The benefit of trust, that's a benefit. It's a blessing, that's a benefit. So if I do something and I misuse your trust, I've lost the benefit of you ever trusting me again. Pay attention. Pay attention now, because there's a whole lot going out here in this conversation. You have to learn to trust God. Too many of us always got this quick scheme, this quick way. We hatching a plan. We always got this fast way we're going to do things. And, oh yeah, so-and-so, they said this. And I'm watching so-and-so over here. And so-and-so over here got it done. And all they did was such and such and such and such a thing. No. Be patient and wait on the Lord. Because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times we're rushing to get into things that we are not ready for. And Shantice said it. Clearly, you're not the one who needs to do the baking, the accounting, the marketing, and anything else. You need to stick to the baking. Because the part of your brain that told you to get on social media and promote what you were doing, that was not a part and should not have been a part of the plan. So a lot of times we rush into things because it's a quick way out, and I know this will work. And maybe it will, but your timing is off. Everything that God wants us to do or God has for us, it ain't for today. There's even times when God gives us a word for someone, but we got to hold on to that word so that God can do a thing in us. So when we deliver the word, we can now deliver greater than what we even thought we were delivering. Because see, that word just ain't the word. It's a whole lot that comes with the word. And when God entrusts you with his word, it's definitely more behind what you're saying. It's a whole lot of going on. So a lot of times we think that we've got all this wonderful idea. And it is a wonderful idea. But when we plan to execute it, it's premature. There are times when God gives us a plan and we're too busy sleeping. Yeah. You lounging because you're tired. Or so-and-so that got on your nerves, and you done been in this relationship and he can wore you out, and now you can't do what you need to do because you brain dead, because you are emotionally twisted. So now you can't execute the plan that the seed that God has put into you, because your mind ain't there. Because in order to be successful, the same way she was baking them cakes, and it's got to be the right ingredients, and that oven has got to be just right in order for that cake to rise. That's the way a plan has to be executed, put together. It can't be halfway done. It all has to be put together the proper way. So when we don't do this, that we run the risk of messing it all up. And that's what she did. She messed it all up. Do not mess up God's plan for your life. Don't mess up God's plan for your children's lives. Because when we mess up plans for our life, we mess up plans for our children's life. Our children's lives. They can't benefit from what God has for them, because we done twisted up everything. So when we fall in a hole, so do they. So we owe them to pay attention to God's plan. Stop hatching your plan. Stop trying to do it your way. Stop trying to execute prematurely. Stop sleeping when it's time to execute. Make sure you're within God's will. Everything, ooh, that takes me back to a conversation that I had yesterday. It's the time. The person kept saying, well, should we do this or should we do? It's God's, everything has to be in its perfect timing. Because anything done at a moment off can mess up the whole thing. Everybody's got to be in their place, and everybody's got to do what they are supposed to do. And sometimes sitting and waiting seems to be like, I just can't sit and wait on this. The opportunity is now. But is that what God is saying? I don't care what happens. I don't care what anyone talks to me about. And I mean, I don't care what anyone talks to me about. Even when I don't realize it, I'm asking, what did God say? Everything. And everybody always says to me, I know. What did God say? Because see, I can't move any other way. I've come to understand that no matter what Stephanie thinks, no matter what Stephanie wants to do, no matter how tired Stephanie is of waiting, no matter how anxious Stephanie may become, no matter how long God's been telling me this thing, if God has not said now, then I ain't got no business doing it now. God has told me to do some things, and I had to just sit there. And see, people don't understand it. Just because God told you to do it does not mean now. Now may not be the time. But he gave you the word now, so that between the time he gave it to you and the time it's time to execute it, he's going to be building some things in you. So by the time you execute it, it'll be executed. It's almost like you said, well, why give it to me now? Well, isn't that what we do when we go to school? When you go to school, they're preparing you for the test. When you go to school, you know that at the end of that semester, you're going to have to take a test. When nurses go to nurses school, they know when they finish, they have to take a test. When lawyers go to school, they know at the end they're going to have to take a test. When doctors go to school, they know at the end they're going to have to take a test. The same thing that God does. So that whole time, from the time you start until it's time to take the test, he's preparing. And unfortunately, because we done messed up all between this point and the other point, there we go. We done messed that up. And we trying to figure out why it ain't working. Stop thinking on your level. Because we can never think on God's level. How do I know that? Because he says my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. So we never go think on his level. We have to give it to him so that he can give it back to us. Give it to him. Give it to him so that when he hands it back to us, we know what to do with it. Now, when you give it to him, understand that when you get it back, it may not be exactly the way you think it should be. But be prepared to execute exactly the way you're being given it to execute. And we go back to this young lady. Clearly, you weren't supposed to execute it the way you did. And you would have been successful had you executed it a certain way. May have been unlawful, but you would have been successful. Like I said, it was a one-shot deal. You'd have been off and running. But people of God, go to God. Wait for God. Listen for God. Don't move without God. If you see that you're in a situation and things are off, don't move until everything is in its right order. Don't move. Should I just wait? Is everything else in order? Ooh, is everyone else in order? Is so-and-so still sitting down when they need to be standing up, or they standing up when they need to be sitting down? Because if the answer to that is yes, then maybe you don't need to be moving. Sit still until God says move. Am I supposed to hear that? And yes. And there are multiple ways God will give you what you're supposed to. I remember God saying to me, you are a pastor, I want you to lead. That was in 2005. And man, the way I answered God, ooh, baby. I won't take you through that journey today. But that was in 2005. The next thing I got was, I want you to move when? 2005. The next word I got was in 2011. Look, 6 years. From one message to the next. Now, when he said, you are a pastor, I want you to lead, I didn't bust out, let me go get my Bible, let me go build a church, let me start building my parishioners, let me start passing out tracts. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. When it finally sunk in that that's what God wanted me to do, I didn't do that. Something told me, the Spirit of the Lord told me, you just wait, because he's going to tell you. So the second time I heard from God was at 11. This is what I want you to do. But I knew that I didn't move. I wasn't supposed to move then. It was almost a year and a half when God said move. Literally move. And that's when I knew. But the initial word came in 2005. So from 2005 to 2012, I was in that waiting season. I didn't get impatient. And when God said move, I moved. And let me tell you the difference. He said in 2005, you're a pastor, I want you to lead. He didn't say anything else until 2011. He said, this is what I want you to do. This is what you're going to do. I didn't move. I waited. And he didn't say anything else. In 2012, he said move. When he said move, right behind that, non-stop, he said, this is what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. This is how you're going to handle this. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. It just kept coming. And that's when I knew that I was supposed to be moving, because he didn't stop. He just kept saying, this is who I'm sending. This is what I want you to do. This is where I want you to be. This is how you're going to handle it. This is where you're going to do, where you're going to be. This is what I want you to do. He just kept coming. Because when he said move, it was time to move. We have to do things the way God instructs us to do it. And if not, we will miss the mark. And the last thing you want to do is, when God wants to use you for something, is to miss the mark. So just wait for God's plan. Now, I'm not saying sit and go to sleep, because you always got to be listening and you always got to be watching. Or wait for God's plan. He will definitely instruct you as to what to do. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, the ladies, for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us do what we do and keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to just accept the Lord as your personal Savior right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship in the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Therapeutic Thursday. And my 2 cents, we're going to try this one more week. We're going to try this one more time. Unstoppable with Jennifer Lopez. The Fight Inside with Ryan Destiny. Come tell us what you think of the movies. Did you like it? Should we click it or should we kick it? Also, Ruth and Boaz is the movie we're going to be watching in my 2 cents segment next week, Tuesday morning, right here on It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join Pastor KL, Pastor Vinny, Pastor Brenda, hopefully, Brother Ainsley, Shantice, and myself as we talk about Ruth and Boaz. It's a network original. It is a Tyler Perry and Franklin, I think his name, Minister Franklin, who they've produced this movie, and we're going to see whether it's true to the biblical story or something like it. Should we kick it or should we click it? We're going to find out. But until then, I love